What's going on, fam? Into Worldwide Family. Anthony back. Classic drip. The drip that was like, you know what everyone thinks of when they see this one? I mean, apart from picturing Alexis Sanchez, or maybe Christian Eriksen, or Lautaro. But I think everyone thinks of the amount of hope, the amount of potential, and really where the hype started to generate of what the future held for us. And it's important to be a little bit positive and say that when we envisioned that in the Champions League, it sort of looked like what's happening now. We've progressively made it to the Europa League final. We have progressed out of the group stages, only going out to Liverpool. And we have now progressed to the quarterfinals. So this little reflection video is just more so the feelings of the day after and the feelings of what it means to be alongside the likes of this Manchester City, Bayern München, Real Madrid, and a host of other names. We all know that Chelsea aren't having a great season domestically, but in my time as a football fan, this is usually when they decide to step it up in the Champions League. AC Milan, I feel as though we've had the edge over them slightly this season domestically, but with their history in this competition and the way that they value themselves and their self-image of themselves as a club in this competition, I would like to avoid them. I would like to avoid playing Milan in the quarters. I mean, I'd be hyped as hell. I'd be hyped as hell. I'd love the city of Milano to be painted in those three colors, blue, black, red, black, on Europe's stage, because the world needs it and the world has got some very fond memories of seeing us clash in the Champions League. We don't have the history on them, but we could make that this year. Moving on from Chelsea and Milan, you would have Napoli. They just walked the park this morning, 3-0. Should have been 5. Krava was actually playing quite selfishly in the first half. He could have squared it to Osimhen twice. I do feel as though Napoli are only about 3-4 games max away from being crowned champions. Maybe not mathematically, but you know, the whole were 16 points clear and there's only 24 attainable points left by match day 30. That's sort of, we've won it. If that's the case, I'd probably prefer to get Napoli over Milan. I wouldn't mind getting a Napoli who are so close to winning the Scudetto that the Champions League is almost background noise to them. And that is not true. They went out in the Coppa Italia to Cremonese because that was background noise. That's real background noise. Real background noise. The Champions League is elite. It's prestigious. I have no doubt that Spalletti is gearing them up, but I also know Spalletti is not a selfish man. He is not a greedy man. A Scudetto, finally, is more than enough for Lucky Luciano. Benfica, the team that is single-handedly responsible for sending Juve to the Europa League. I'd love to be able to see João Mario come up against us. I'd love to be able to go up against him. Benfica are a good side. They're a good side. They're better than Porto. They're better than Porto this season. I'd relish the opportunity to take on Benfica because as a club, I do believe we are bigger and I do believe that we can rise to the occasion just as well, if not better, than Benfica. So who have we covered? Chelsea, Milan, Napoli, Benfica. Let's get to the big boys. Let's get to the, if we can, the avoidables. You can't avoid it though, guys. It's the quarterfinals. Mourinho said it best. Once you get to the quarterfinals of any tournament, you can win it. It's anybody's cup. I think that we've got a chance, but we won't win it. We're not good enough. We're just not good enough. Over 2 legs, we won't be good enough to beat City or Bayern. Something this season just screams to me that Real Madrid are not in their usual frame of mind. They're in a transitional phase, and you might be saying, how are they in a transitional phase? They're Real Madrid. This is what their transition looks like. They are so elite, so prestigious, so goddamn good, that this is probably considered a transitional phase for Madrid, finishing second in La Liga and pissing their way through to a quarterfinal. Because they haven't made a disastrous amount of signings. They've been watching their books a little bit more. All they had to do was make sure that they had a decent replacement in for Modric and Kroos when they retire, and they've got that through Tchouaméni and Camavinga. They're set. Haaland's probably going to go there. Kvaratskhelia is probably going to go there eventually. You know, Real Madrid will be okay in the next 2-3 years, and they'll start to dominate again. I feel as though that this is probably the weakest you're ever going to catch them off guard. And even if Inter over 2 legs can't do the job over Madrid, I really don't think we'd get smacked. We're not going to go to the Bernabeu and lose by 3 goals. We might lose. I don't think we lose by 3 or 4. I don't think they come to San Siro and have an easy time. I think they're beatable at the San Siro. Give me Madrid. I'll take them. I won't want to take Bayern and City. These are the 2 ones that, if you can avoid them, I'll go into the quarterfinals hyped up knowing that a semi-final is a possibility. You draw Bayern, and then it's how do we not embarrass ourselves? You draw City, it's how do we not embarrass ourselves? It might be a little harsh, but I don't know. It's only... yeah. It's hard. It's hard to imagine what it's going to look like. Anyway, the draw takes place, I'm pretty sure, Saturday morning for me, so Friday night in the rest of the world. I hope you guys enjoyed this raw, unedited video. I'm going to keep doing a lot more of these. I'm very, very time poor at the moment. And when you're as time poor as I am, the idea of doing a video sometimes comes with some baggage, like, do I have enough time to make a thumbnail, to share it around, to do all these sort of things, add some edits and add some images. So any content is better than no content. So I'm just really, really happy. Forza Inter. Forza Inter worldwide. The quarterfinals, baby.